Coming up this week, off-screen.
The war begins for the Planet of the Apes.
Cars goes for a third lap.
Colin Farrell gets Beguiling.
David Lynch enjoys the art life.
And we witness the death of Louis XIV.
All those come and more, off-screen.
This is Off-Screen. Off-Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off-Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Welcome to Off-Screen, I'm Van Connor.
I am Case Allen.
Welcome back, Mr. Allen. It's been a fun week as ever. Filmtastic, as it were.
I have seen films today, which is good.
I know you saw two, didn't you?
I saw two. I saw a film we're going to be talking about in mere moments, then It Comes at Night, which you saw last week.
Which is not in the top five, so we're not going to get to talk about it then. So you might as well tell me now, then, what do you think of It Comes at Night?
Well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
It's pretty good, isn't it?
I think it's better if you don't know too much about it and you don't have a preconceived notion about what it's going to be, because it's not going to be that.
Okay.
But I really liked it.
Are you telling people not to listen back to our review then? Because that kind of flies in the face of what we do, really.
I mean, I'm not one for, self-promotion or mutual promotion, I guess. Yeah.
So, okay, we've got news to come. We've got reviews to come. We've got a box office top five to come. We've got loads of competitions to come. We've got 5 competitions on the go.
Loads.
Loads. But we need to start with something light, something frothy. Give us some news, Mr. Allen. What's the biggie this week?
I don't know if this is biggie, but it's biggie for us, because we are big fans of John Oliver.
We are indeed.
And his show, Last Week Tonight, with John Oliver on HBO.
Which is that's required watching in my house.
It is. Sadly, it wasn't on this weekend. He's taken a couple of weeks off.
He has. And do you know the day he comes back is my birthday?
Oh, what a present.
So, and Rick and Morty comes back on my birthday. So, yeah, I know.
And I will be in Essex, unfortunately.
And I'll be watching the Emoji Movie. So,
swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, John Oliver has been announced to be playing Zazu in the live-action adaptation of The Lion King.
That's amazing casting, because that was Rowan Atkinson before.
In the original one, the 1994 one. Yeah, which obviously is great, and it's very difficult to recast those parts, because we're so, intrinsically linked.
It's when they announced that James Earl Jones was going to be Mufasa that you thought, well, yes, that makes sense, because who else could do that?
Exactly, and I kind of have the same thought about Timon and Pumbaa as well.
Yeah, well, I had the same problem with Scar. I can't figure out for the life of me who should play Scar.
I've got a few ideas. I generally think we're going to go with someone like Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. Nah, fair enough. Yeah. I go with that. I think
because he is in-house at Disney.
Just for giggles, get Tom Hardy, man. That'll be fun. Yeah.
I saw a BT advert of Tom Hardy today, and he goes a bit Bane.
This one where he robs the sugar.
Yeah.
Just for no reason.
And he's like, but there is another way.
You know what mortifies me about that advert more than anything?
What?
I own that cardigan.
Do you actually?
I do. It's a BHS.
Who wore it better?
Oh, he wore it better. Totally. Yeah. Totally. I mean, he wears everything.
He could wear a plastic bag.
He could literally peel the flesh from my bones and wear that better. He's Tom Hardy. That's why he's Tom Hardy. He wears everything better.
And then everyone would be like, oh, he's so adorable. Look at him wearing another human skin.
They would absolutely say that. So let's go from human skin to animal skin then and talk about War for the Planet of the Apes, which is pretty much I'd say the big release this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
It is.
Definitely, yeah.
This is your bus poster film. That's what that is. That's how you know when the biggie is.
Yes.
So obviously this is the third of the rebooted Apes trilogy, this sort of reboot, prequel, spin-offy kind of series that we have now. And so we started with Rise, we went to Dawn, and now we're at the War stage.
A lot of people always get really annoyed with this not Dawn then Rise.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, there's a bit in the start of the film that kind of explains that, so...
They actually give you a written prologue, a written history so far, and every time they refer to one of the titles of the film, it's in the big Apes font.
Yeah.
I love that. So
I
clever.
love that, yeah.
But, okay, so the idea is this is now 2 years on from the cliffhanger ending of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, in which it's revealed the apes weren't all wiped out 5 minutes after the film finished, like we all just assumed they were going to be. In fact, they've been hunted ever since, because that's so much more cheerful. And
this film is a laugh riot.
Oh, this is the feel-good film of the year, this one. Right. So what we've got now is the remains of the human army, so we're told, led by Colonel McCullough, who's played by Woody Harrelson. And he is a vengeful, wipe out all the apes, pro-humanist hardliner who's on a mission to seek out the ape base, destroy it, and have done with it. He eventually finds, well, not eventually, after 2 years, he's found the location. And tragedy befalls, and this leads the ape, leader, emperor, the leader of the Apes.
Leader.
Caesar.
They call him the leader.
They call him the leader. Yeah. Caesar, played by Andy Serkis, still. And I'm sorry, but we're not going to talk about Andy Serkis's performance anymore. It's done. It's academic now. We can leave it now.
Yeah, people know it's great.
You know he's brilliant.
Yeah, if your grand knows who Andy Serkis is, and she probably does, because he's everywhere promoting his film.
Should we just make a deal, you and I?
Yeah.
Right? Any film that has a motion capture performance by Andy Serkis, right, we're just going to take it as writ that it's amazing. We will only discuss it if it's the first bad one. Right?
I'll go with that deal.
That's fine for me. So, Serkis is amazing. Let's continue with the plot. So, tragedy befalls, and Caesar sets out on a mission to seek out and murder his human counterpart, the evil Colonel McCullough, not realising that his actions are going to set in motion a sequence of events that will forever change the face of the planet Earth, and particularly who inhabits it. And here's a clip of those two meeting for the first time.
Have you finally come to save your apes?
I came for you.
For me? My God. Look at your eyes. Almost human. How did you know I was here?
I was told you were coming. That more soldiers from the north would be joining you here.
Joining me?
To finish us off. For good.
Andy Serkis there, who we can't talk about his acting quality anymore. It's just gotten dull now. We know he's brilliant. We know he's amazing. We're going to call it Cumberbatching it.
If you've seen him on like any talk show this week,
exactly.
You know he's great.
You know he's great. And Woody Harrelson, who also very good. Right, so Wolf of the Planet of the Apes. You've seen it now. What did you think of it?
I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I think it's my favourite of the three.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's
okay.
Wraps things up in a nice way, but
it does
also
tie the story off.
It ties the story off, but like it leaves you thinking about what could potentially happen if they were to carry on.
I feel like there is more story to tell. I think they could mine more story. Bear in mind, of course, historically they did end the Planet of the Apes series with the second movie in the late 60s.
Yes,
and then, you know, just came up with the greatest pulling the rug out from under you reboot idea ever for the third one, which was, I think, Escape from the Planet of the Apes?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was Escape, where they just brought time travel into it. Right, okay, so on that note, actually, since we're talking about it, let's talk about the really clever way. This film is actually designed with this undercurrent, where it does actually tie up the loose ends of the mythology, and it does give you a sort of, oh, how did you get from there to there kind of idea with this series. You do kind of get the explanation. You can leave this film, never see another one of these movies should they make them, and you know how we get from this to Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it's pretty seamless, really.
It's pretty seamless. It's all there for you. I mean, but it's done so well. It's in a day and age of cinematic universe setup becoming the norm. It is amazing how confidently and how just almost without acknowledgement this does it. I mean, they introduced two characters from established mythology with no dwelling on them whatsoever, which is fantastic. And then meanwhile, you've got great performances in there. Steve Zahn, as you and I have both said.
My boy Steve Zahn.
Your boy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Steve Zahn.
Well, Steve Zahn continues your theory, doesn't he? That eventually all three cast members of the movie Sahara will win an Oscar.
Yeah, we're just biding our time until that day happens.
Well, based on his performance in this film, I actually can see it. So,
yeah, but then again, if we can't get Andy Serkis an Oscar for mocap, can you imagine if Steve Zahn just comes in and robs it?
Cheeky bugger. Yeah. But no, he's the new ape in the mix. He is Bad Ape. That's his name.
Bad Ape, yeah.
And it literally called that because everyone says Bad Ape to him.
Yeah, it's explained why that's his name.
It's literally it's the ape's equivalent of S. Baldrick. You know, I love it. I absolutely love it. And he is the breakout character, and he's someone you immediately fall in love with and someone you want to see a lot more of. I think it's great. I think it cements Matt Reeves once and for all as this is a new voice. This is a genuine auteur here.
Yeah, for tentpole blockbusters.
Yes. I mean, the fact that this guy's next work is Batman, you sit there
I'm
and think,
really excited.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to make that work, I have confidence in this guy. Now, he's co-written this with Mark Bomback. Now, Mark Bomback co-wrote Dawn of the Planet of the Apes as well. Before that, nothing but awful films.
Give me some of the awful films.
I forget them all offhand. Please do pull him up on IMDb.
Let's have a look.
Whilst I'm talking about it. Now, Mark Baumbach would be able to credit this as being the sharpest work he's ever written. However, he did write Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and so, I actually do think Dawn is a sharper film than this. I think it delves more into emotion.
Yeah, this is more straightforward. It is revenge.
This is.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing as well, because it's not really a war movie. It's a war movie in the way that Captain America Civil War is a war movie, and you can't quite get away with calling it Captain America Civil Airport Skirmish.
No.
So at the same point, you can't really call this skirmish.
There's elements of a war film.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of very key scenes that are a war film.
There's a lot of it, and it's very heart-wrenching, it's very emotional, it is superbly staged. Michael Giacchino proves himself yet again to be to 21st cinema what John Williams was to the 20th.
Got some news about John Williams later. But anyway, that's not how you pronounce his name.
Is it not?
No.
That's how the guys at Disney pronounced his name.
Giacchino.
Giacchino. That's how they...
That's it. Not Giacchino. You're not ordering anything from
not
Starbucks.
Giacchino. That's
Giacchino.
how the guys behind Inside Out, when we did the press thing, that's how they pronounce
on
it.
his Twitter page.
Yeah. Has he said it?
His little bio says, pronounce Giacchino.
I've had conversations with him through Twitter. Never mind.
You lied to me, Giacchino.
I had a conversation with him about the soundtrack to La Luna. Anyway, which I still want. Anyway, right, so he's fantastic. It's so well staged. It's so well put together. It is the smartest movie, smartest blockbuster we're going to get this summer, easily.
And all that from the writer of the remake of Total Recall.
Thank you, that was it. Yes, the writer of the remake of Total Recall.
But he's redeemed himself. This is great.
This is great. I think it's better than Rise. I don't think it's as good as Dawn. I think it ends the series not on its best note, but on its most elegant, and with something genuine and profound to say. I'm happy with it. I loved it. I trust you loved it as well.
10 thumbs up.
10 thumbs up, in which case, we cue the music.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
A bunch of a-holes.
And we're back. So before we review David Lynch, should we just plug our competitions real quick?
Why not? Because we've got enough to plug.
We've got a lot. I mean, you've literally got a list. Go on onscreenfilm.com, go in the competition section. There's swag to be won, and there's a fair amount of swag. Please enter and win this stuff, because we haven't got room on our shelves for it. I mean, I know you probably love the chance to try and fit it all in, but...
I've not even got a shelf.
Not even got a shelf, it's true.
No, I used to dream of a shelf.
I used to dream of a shelf. Now I have a cupboard. But, right, so, yeah, go on onscreenfilm.com, go in the competition section, and what can you win, Mr. Allen?
You could win tickets to the pop-up screen events that are happening in Londinium.
That's right, this summer, loads of great movies there, La La Land...
Dirty Dancing,
Dirty Dancing, Ghostbusters, Moonlight, things like that.
Loads of good stuff.
Loads of good...
Deadpool.
Deadpool is one of them.
Really?
Yeah, wouldn't you love to sit on a green, get drunk and watch Deadpool?
That'd be cool.
I mean, I sit on my garden and get drunk and watch Deadpool a lot, I'll admit.
And cry alone.
Yeah, and my neighbours think I'm nuts, but aside from that...
It's all good.
We've got loads of DVDs as well.
Yeah, Neruda, the Pablo Neruda.
Oh, Pablo Larraín's... is it Gael Garcia Bernal? That's who stars in it.
Of course it is. Yes.
Really, really loved that movie. Really something. Very wacky, very off-kilter. What else we got? Hidden Figures? I almost said Hidden Passion there. Hidden Figures.
Yeah, that's out now, yeah. We're giving that away.
You were a fan?
I was a fan.
You were a fan?
I wasn't a fan of the end credits, but yeah.
That's fair enough.
I'll go into that another time.
We've got A Quiet Passion, the Emily Dickinson movie with Cynthia Nixon. We've got that to give away. And of course, what film I really liked, the Korean spy thriller The Age of Shadows, which is based on historical events, which is really something and must be seen. Go on onscreenfilm.com, go in the competition section, win this stuff, because honestly, we haven't got room in our homes and offices to store all this stuff. Please win it and take it off our hands. Not the tickets, they're very small, we could fit those in a drawer, but...
we should have said they're actually massive, giant, like those big checks.
Novelty check size, yeah.
You get The Price is Right. Oh.
I'm gonna get in touch with the PR guy, his name's Kia. I'm gonna ask him if he'll give us some giant novelty checks. But to terms and conditions, actual ticket size may vary. In the meanwhile, podcast edition, go on iTunes, Deezer. Is Deezer now? Tune in, get the extended podcast edition. This week it's mostly film news out there because we've got so few films to review. But if you go on Acast, you do get a wonderful digital bling, and that's really something. You get the trailers, you get the artwork, you get all the
stuff.
You get all the stuff, man.
All the MacGuffins.
Do you know if you pull it up on your
Marvel?
I know. If you pull it up on the desktop, if you go on the Acast website on your desktop computer, it shows you in a line all the artwork, and you can skip to the relevant review by clicking the poster.
Just choose a picture that you like.
Yeah, choose the picture you like, and it skips to that bit of the show. So, right. So, David Lynch, The Art Life.
Yeah, he's mad.
He's mad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mad as a bag of hammers.
Mad as a bag of lynches.
Bag of lynches, yeah. Right, so this is the story all about how his life got turned right upside down. It is the story of David Lynch's life. Documentary, he talks directly to camera through it. There's a lot of archival footage, old Super 8 film, etc. And it is basically, he narrates his life as it relates to the art and the artwork he has been involved in creating over time. It doesn't go up to now. It doesn't even go up to... It doesn't really go any further than Eraserhead. It pretty much goes from birth to Eraserhead, which is the early 70s, I want to say.
Yeah, more of his well-known films come after Eraserhead.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So Eraserhead was his first biggie, and we get a lot. But you actually get an expert, some of the background on the actual making of Eraserhead, which is quite fascinating. I'll tell you what, here's a clip that's going to set the tone for exactly what you're in for with this 90-minute look into the psyche of the man who made Twin Peaks.
And the day I started school, there was a huge hurricane. And the rain was coming down. You couldn't hardly see the school. It was like dark almost. It was so thick, this storm. There were 2 other guys starting school. And those 2 guys became my friends. But they were not the friends they should have had.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get stuck in a lift with him, would you?
Have you watched any of the new series of Twin Peaks?
No, I've not seen a single episode.
Neither have I, but apparently there was an episode where there is no structural narrative at all. It is just loads of just random shots of empty landscapes and some guy's garden.
I completely believe that.
That for an hour.
I completely believe it.
Yeah.
And it'll get heralded as a masterpiece. I'm sure I win all the Emmys.
Yeah.
It really will, because it's David Lynch. And I have a love-hate relationship with David Lynch, which is I can love him and I can hate him, and it's 50-50 as to which one you're going to get at any given time.
Yeah.
This, for me, falls, I'll be honest, this kind of fell under the hate banner. It's... Unless you're genuinely fascinated by the man... Not his work or his influence, just the man. This is not really something that's going to do an awful lot for you. There's a lot in here that you just think, why did I need to know any of this? And
maybe it's nice to have a bit of kind of context about why he is so mad.
And that's the thing. It didn't really give me that context. It didn't give me much of an insight. It's pretty much an A to B story. I grew up. I decided one day that I found great beauty in the artistic chiseling of wooden statues of squirrels. And then at one point he says he had to go out and get a job. He says, and I was really annoyed because I was sawing some wood on my dining table, and it really upset me because I very much enjoyed sawing that wood. And you think, you know what? If anyone else said this, you would think they were barking mad. But we're willing to accept it because it's David Lynch.
Was that a really bad joke then?
No,
barking mad.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay, yeah. I missed it. See, yeah. But you sit there and think, you know, if Ed O'Neill said this, you'd think he was mad. You know, if why
was that the person?
I don't know.
Were you watching Modern Family this morning?
No, I wasn't. If Beverly D'Angelo came out with this, you'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" But
why have you not seen anything past the 80s?
I don't know. I was literally going to say Kathleen Turner as well. Then, which really doesn't help your argument, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Chandler's mum.
Chandler's dad.
Oh, of course.
Chandler's dad, not Chandler's
Come
mum.
on, Case.
Yeah. Oh. One of us went to Friends Fest last week.
You can show it, wasn't me? Yeah, thank you for my bar of mocklets.
Yes, did you enjoy the mocklet?
I did.
Oh, good. Yeah. But this is the thing, though. I'd say if you are a diehard David Lynch fan and you are as eager to know about the man as you are his work, go and see this. If, however, you're like me and you've always sat on the fence with his work, this is not going to offer you much. And, well, it's a David Lynch film. It's a David Lynch biography. How do you think this is going to play? Give me some news. Cheer me up.
You seem really downtrodden about that.
I am. I really wanted to love it.
Okay. This could be all right. Okay. Ryan Gosling might be Willy Wonka.
Is this because we talked about Mocklet a minute ago, is it?
I guess that's quite a tenuous link. Yeah, okay. Let's go with that. It was all planned. I didn't just see it.
Is this from the Harry Potter Paddington guy?
Yeah, David Heyman.
Heyman, yes, thank you. Yes,
David Heyman.
David. Hey, man. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, bad guy. I can see that. So this is going to be a prequel to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka.
It's going to be about how he enslaved the Oompa Loompas.
How he not enslaved, but broke them out.
Look, unless they've got a union, they're slaves. That's all I'm saying. Look, they wore
what's the word when you
liberate.
Thank you.
Okay, look, they wear matching uniforms.
Not had coffee during this show.
We haven't. No, we're going to have one. Right. Look, they wear matching uniforms.
Yeah.
Okay, and they work without salary. They're slaves. Okay.
If this is actually the film, I'm way more excited. So they go with him on the promise that they're going to be liberated,
And he's actually
and then he's
enslaving them.
like, "Here are your costumes. Not costumes. Here are uniforms.
Here are your uniforms. You will wear matching dungarees.
Mind me some chocolate.
Yeah,
from back
mind the chocolate, wear the matching dungarees. That's how it works. By the way, you will also drive my boats, steam my carpets. And...
Baby, you can drive my boat.
There we are.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'd watch that.
Okay, so next film then, The Death of Louis XIV. Right, I'm glad we've gotten these two out of the way quite quickly, actually. So this stars Jean-Pierre Léaud as Louis XIV, and it literally begins with a shot of, we've not got a clip for it because it's all in French. It begins with Louis XIV in his older years being wheelchaired around his vast palatial gardens. We discover very quickly that he is regarded as the greatest king France has ever had, but that he one day he went for a walk. He had a pain, and it was discovered to be gangrene. And over the course of these 90 minutes... Was it 90 minutes? Hang on. Yeah, it was... No, it was an hour 55. Sorry. I'm thinking of David Lynch. Over the course of an hour and 55 minutes, we literally witnessed the slow and agonising death of Louis XIV by gangrene, as he literally sits in his bedchamber, literally lays in his bedchamber, has visitors, and tries to put his affairs in order. It's surprisingly not a very talky piece. A lot of it is dialogue-free. It is a chamber piece in the literal sense, the literal and figurative sense. It's in a chamber. It's in a chamber. It's a chamber piece in an actual chamber. And, wow, I mean, the performance by Jean-Pierre Léaud is intriguing. He's really leaning into the elements he's gotten from his director here. And this is directed, incidentally, by... Who was it now? Oh, man. Albert Serra. That was who it was, sorry. Right, so this is written and directed by Albert Serra, who brought us Birdsong, if you remember that.
I remember that.
Right. It looks lovely. It's gorgeous looking. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, but I want to stress that doesn't necessarily make it any good. It is unique. It is very, very much something. It is this man slowly dying before us. However... It does feel like you're taking your death rattle with him. And, yeah. This is not the kind of thing you're going to go and see on date night. Or if you will, there's something off with you. But
yeah, I can't imagine that being that fun of a date night.
No, not really at all. But, okay, so look, we've gotten the two dull ones out of the way. We'll go away, we'll cut to the jump, we'll come back, and we'll do some fun stuff, all right?
Sounds good.
That sounds like a plan.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, shall we crack on with the top 10 for this week then? Because you've seen a few of these now.
I have. I've been making good use of my
your
cinema
downtime,
pass,
yeah.
multi-pass.
You got Lulu Dallas multipass? Is that what it is?
Multi-pass.
Actually, Valerian's in a couple of weeks.
It is.
It is.
And I'll be using my multi-pass for that.
Excellent.
But yeah, let's do the top 5.
On that note, we cue the music.
Number 5.
She's hanging in there.
She really is, isn't
Old
she?
Diana.
I hope she gets a good run this summer. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to stick around.
Well, how long's it been now? It's been 5 weeks. 5 weeks. And she's only at number 5.
It's made loads of money.
It has made. Did you see that the Deadpool people have congratulated
the Deadpool people?
The Deadpool people have congratulated Wonder Woman on it.
No, I've not. How did they do that?
They put out an image of Deadpool wearing a gold necklace made of the Wonder Woman logo.
That's great.
Doing the hand symbol with his heart, with his hands around it, and I believe the comment was, "The Merc may be filthier, but the Wonder Woman has better BO." which I thought
Excellent.
was brilliant. Better box office all round. Sold. I loved Wonder Woman. I think Gal Gadot is really something in it.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's news this week. Apparently, we are going to get a sequel set in the 80s in the Cold War.
Cold War.
Apparently, is a thing.
I am down for that.
I'm down for that. As long as
I just want to be in. I want her to be in like every great war.
Well, that was the beginning of that Wolverine movie that time, if you remember. But
Well, this is slightly better than that Wolverine.
yeah, well, than that Wolverine certainly. But yes, I think she's great. I think my favourite element of the film actually is Saeed Tagmaoui as
you
Sammy.
really like him,
I
don't you?
really like him in this. I think he's
Yeah.
there's something about him. I just find him so just endearing in this film.
I think my favourite is Princess Buttercup being a badass, kick-ass general.
You know what? Absolutely. Bring on that Princess Bride sequel, please.
Number 4.
I don't like this as much.
You know, I don't either.
I don't like this at all. It's better than the fourth one, but that's not saying a lot.
Transformers Age of Extinction brilliantly got summed up by John Mosby as you can't spell extinction without stink. And I've always got to give him credit for that. He was the master of 1,000 puns, and that I think was one of his best.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Transformers The Last Night is the same old rubbish, different day.
With Anthony Hopkins.
With A-Hop doing his dude routine. You want
Yeah.
to know, don't you? Dude.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about this, and we were talking about his weird robo butler. And
Yes, that is
she
terrible.
said, well, she brought something up that I'd not really thought about. Is
What?
he a reformed Decepticon?
I don't know.
Because he's kind of got this like weird instinct to just always kill.
Yeah, but do you not think the fact that they don't bring that up tells you how poorly written this film is?
Yeah, I did say that about as my counter argument. I said you saying that is way more thought that's ever been put into any of
Yeah,
these
I mean,
things.
let's be honest. That this movie does hinge around, I'm Cade Yeager, I'm an inventor. Which no.
Wait, he ain't getting no student loans to pay back.
Yeah, you ain't got no student
Yeah,
loan.
no
Now,
student
please let me
loans.
mansplain Arthur C. Clarke to you. And then
You
Optimus
bet.
Prime shows up to refer to people by name who he's never met before.
Oh, Viv.
So yeah, it's all on you now, Vivian. How do you know her name?
You just look like a Vivian to me.
And yeah, exactly that. Vivian, of course, being an Oxford history professor who, subscribes to the Michael Bay ideals of what an Oxford history professor would look like, which is, say, a sexified, hipster spect, pencil skirt sporting nymph who talks about the sexuality of...
To be fair to that character,
Go
though,
on.
for most of the film, she's got sort of like a I don't need a man sort of an outlook.
Well, I really enjoyed the part...
And then it kind of...
I really enjoyed the part where they started getting Rebecca Front from the thick of it to explain what a BBW was and tell her that she should explore sapphic love.
That was one of the points where I wanted to leave.
Yeah,
There were 3 points I wanted to walk out.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up that film.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y, baby.
Number 3.
Every 21-year-old's favourite film this year.
Pretty much, yeah, it really is. It is going to be that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
And, I mean, for good reason.
I'll be really
It
honest.
is great.
I've had the soundtrack on Spotify on repeat for the last
you have,
3
yeah.
weeks because it's a good soundtrack.
We have had such a great year so far for soundtracks.
We have,
I'm going to
strangely.
get to one of them later.
Okay, excellent.
But yeah, so good.
So good. I really enjoyed it. Edgar Wright, I think, has cinematically come up with a solo project that has allowed him to cinematically grow up in a sense.
Yeah.
And I think fair play to him. Really, really good job.
Little niggles I've heard from people have been about the story itself and just saying, "Oh, it's not really that original."
It's not really. I think anyone's claiming
It
to
doesn't
be.
need to be. It's like
I'd argue it's too similar to Drive. That's probably the biggest complaint I'd have. It's arguably too similar to Drive.
Yeah, but they're both aping films from the 60s and 70s.
Exactly.
But like
That-
getaway
again,
films.
that's where you go
it's,
next,
It's
isn't it?
like complaining that like a western is.
Let's be honest.
do you know
You
what I
could
mean?
see Steve McQueen in this.
Yeah.
You could absolutely see these. And do you know what? That's not a criticism. That's a compliment.
Yeah, this
from you,
film
Andy.
could have come out in the 60s with similar music.
It actually really could. And do you know what? Would have been just as good then as well.
Number 2.
Despicable 3.
Despicable 3.
Which it should have been called.
It really should
It's
have.
like the Jumanji sequel. It should be called Tumanji.
It really should have. And Zoolander. Why did they change
Zoolander.
Zoolander 2's name to
Because they knew it was a bad film.
well, they knew that. But no, so Despicable Me 3, which, it's got its moments, but it's not a patch on the first one. It's not a patch on Minions. It's about as good as the second one, I'd argue. There's a lot of missed opportunity to this film, particularly as regards, for instance, the character of Drew, where you should think, well, all you've done is effectively you've given Gru hair and inverted the colour scheme, and I'd rather have a distinct person. rather than here's a sort of very thinly disguised parable of it's like Superman and Bizarro. The reason you'll never see a big feature film Superman with Bizarro is because Bizarro isn't a character; he's just an inverse Superman.
Yeah.
You want Reverse Flash, what you get is Bizarro, and that's the problem. And the Minion stuff kind of undoes and retreads old ground. The kids and the wife element are kind of ignored, despite the fact that that's what made the very first movie so good, it was all about the family dynamic. And ultimately, you come away and just think it just wasn't as much fun. I didn't like Trey Parker anywhere near as much as I'd hoped I would.
I really liked him in the trailer, but I feel like an entire
That's
film...
pretty much it.
Is that it?
No, obviously there's the big... He is basically a MacGuffin. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, he's a MacGuffin. And
it's an 80s MacGuffin.
Yeah, I feel like he deserves better.
Number 1.
Spider-Man.
Homecoming.
Yes. So we've not spoken about the soundtrack.
We haven't, which, as you can hear from that little snippet of Michael Giacchino.
Giacchino, there they are.
Michael Giacchino there.
Rusty Blasses on Twitter for getting his name.
Sorry, Mikey.
You know my boy.
I love you, dog.
Not just his score was amazing.
It was really good.
And I love that take on...
The Amazing Spider-Man riff.
It's like his riff on Star Trek, isn't it?
It is, and it does work.
It's that, but the John Hughes inspired soundtrack list.
It's good, isn't it?
It's amazing. Like, I have had that in my car more than I have had Baby Driver.
Really?
Recently. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. That's not something I expected, but I'm surprised.
Well, not to sound like a massive
music snob,
D-word music snob, but I am. But I already knew all the Baby Driver songs. I lived some, and I've been.
You were listening to them before they were cool. That's fine.
There's no way of sounding not like a music snob. But there was loads of songs on Spider-Man. There was loads of songs on Spider-Man that I'd forgotten that I looked like the song by The Beat, and I was just like, the song is amazing. And
it is so much fun though. This film, it really is. I saw it a second time. I went to
I've seen it twice now.
Yeah, and it holds up as well. That's the really weird part for me. I've noticed there's been a lot of complaining this last week about Aunt May, particularly about why is it Aunt May is purely relegated to this idea of, oh look, she's hot. And actually, I would argue that's kind of the charm of the film.
Yeah, there's a 52-year-old woman.
Yeah, it just so happens that Marissa Tomei doesn't look 52. I mean, let's be honest, if she did look 52 and the movie continued to make a gag out of the idea that she's hot and everyone's attracted to her, we'd all be patting it on the back and saying, how refreshing is it that, in this day and age, we're talking about how attractive a 52-year-old woman is. That's amazing. For a film aimed at 12-year-old boys, that's really impressive. That's really something... So, you know what? You can have it one way or the other. That's it. That's it. You either get advancement or you don't. And I'll take the idea that Marissa Tomei is hot and Spider-Man Homecoming is amazing. And by the way, anyone who throws "It's not as good as the Amazing Spider-Man" at me can do one.
I'm sorry. Who has ever said that?
The internet. Apparently, that's the thing now. The internet has decided, retrospectively, that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was good.
Well, Van, some people on the internet say that Phantom Menace is the best Star Wars film, and also people like Coldplay, so you can't trust people, can you?
You really want to go for the full... People vote for the Nazis.
Yeah,
like
but I couldn't, just to paraphrase Super Hands for a second.
Was it?
You can't trust people.
Yes, that was Super Hands, wasn't it? Thank you. Okay, some news quickly, though. Go on.
A quick bit of news.
I
like this. Let's stick with Marvel for a little bit, then.
Okay.
And stick with the tiny little superheroes.
They're tiny little superheroes?
Yes. Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be starting shooting in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think that's an Atlanta job, isn't it?
It is indeed. So we're getting a cast rounded out, and Randall Park is going to play in a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent called Jimmy Woo.
Yes, I heard this.
Yes. I really like Randall Park.
I do as well. I think this is the thing. I've discovered that when I've told people about this, most people don't know who he is. So
Randall Park or Jimmy Woo?
Randall Park. No one really knows who Jimmy Woo is.
If you showed anyone a picture of Randall Park, I think they'd be like, "Oh, that guy."
Oh, so he's the boyfriend who dumps Amy Schumer at the beginning of Snatched. He's Kim Jong-un in The Interview, and he's in most of Veep.
He's that senator, isn't he? Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and this, of course, raises one significant question, which is, wait a minute, so the MCU is finally going to have to address the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. exists but doesn't? Because... last time I checked, we weren't acknowledging that TV series.
Well, he could be like a rogue S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
I don't know.
Or one that's been sort of like undercover. He's been in a coma. He's been in a coma for like 3 years, and he's woken up and he's like...
He's been in the quantum realm.
He's been in the quantum...
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. He's been in the quantum
You can
realm.
use a quantum realm for anything.
And he pops back out and he says, Hail Hydra.
Use that to explain it. That is your Eagles from Lord of the Rings method of explaining it. Where has that been? Quantum realm.
I don't know why I just envisioned Nick Frost in character from Shaun of the Dead. Instead of saying, I'll do it on the night, it's like, quantum realm, isn't it?
Yeah. Doing that. I'm not a performing monkey.
But yeah. So I mean, they may address S.H.I.E.L.D., they may not. I actually would be quite interested to see if they do bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back into it, because let's answer that one niggling question that's been around for years, shall we?
When are they going to
acknowledge that Agent Coulson's alive?
Yeah, that was
and because you can't tell me that it's not MCU, because Samuel L. Jackson's been in it.
That's true.
Yeah, and Sif was in it. Lady Sif was in it too. So
I like Lady Sif.
Yeah, no, they've been in it, so it's MCU. It counts, and also they come on. Where do you think Nick Fury got that helicarrier from in Ultron?
How long is it going to be until we hear that Sharon Stone is playing?
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
That'd be pretty great casting for Janet Van Dyne.
They've got to do it. They've got to do it. It's got to be the case. I would like it if this movie was about mothers and daughters.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
Considering the first one was about fathers and daughters, I would very much like it if the sequel, because she's obviously going to be such a more prominent character, Hope, Evangeline Lilly, that it's a mothers and daughters tale, and Judy Greer gets a bigger part.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
would be very nice, because obviously Judy Greer has a daughter with Scott.
Cassie. Yeah,
would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
a nice shift of dynamic.
She was really cool as well, that little girl. Like, it's like a child actress.
It's so ugly. I love it. And then all of this is narrated by Michael Pena, and I said,
I'm gonna have to watch that film this week. That's so much fun.
It really is.
Yeah.
I just want Michael Pena to just have a side gig where they just recruit him to, in character, provide commentaries for special editions of all these films.
That'd be amazing.
So then, Iron Man showed up, and War Machine showed up, and they're fought, and I'm like, yeah.
And he gets all these copies of the film from his cousin.
Yeah. Got from my cousin Pedro. Anyway, Cars 3, which is so much less funny than what we were just talking about. Right, okay, by default, incidentally, the best of the Cars movies.
That's good.
Now, by default, I mean...
Oh, low bar.
We've got
I quite like the first one.
The first one is Doc Hollywood for 6-year-olds.
That's the point. I don't think they're trying to... Yeah.
The second one is an espionage adventure that makes no sense. That's Austin Powers for 6-year-olds.
The second one is bad.
Yeah, the second one's Austin Powers for 6-year-olds. This one is Rocky 3 and 4 for 6-year-olds.
And you're telling me that this film is not good?
I didn't say it wasn't good.
I'm seeing this on Friday.
Right, okay, so basically, here's the plot, right? Here's the plot.
You've referenced two of my favourite films, so...
Which... Oh, okay, so both two... Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I say Rocky 4. We all know Rocky 4 is better than 3.
Rocky 4 is better than any Rocky.
Exactly.
It's better than all Rocks. It's better than The Rock.
I must break you.
You will lose. If he dies, he dies.
I love that movie so much. I could watch that every week. I'm not even kidding. But right, so the idea is what you got your boy. I almost said was it Lightning McQueen? Lightning McQueen. Sorry, you gone off mic. Lightning McQueen, who is doing his thing and he's tearing up the racetrack and he's king champ like he always was. And then one day there's a new boy on the scene. Storm Jackson.
Great name.
Yeah, played by Armie Hammer.
Greater name,
yeah. And you can't help but think once your name is Armie Hammer, you can't get undone by...
Yeah, the car should have just been called Armie.
Yeah, of course. Right, and the idea is Armie Hammer's Storm Jackson is is the first of a new generation of cars where it's all hybridized engines and fuel efficiency and computational algorithms that allow you to hold firm to the tracks that you've always got optimal position. And the idea becomes analog racing versus digital. So, in trying to keep up, Lightning McQueen winds up injuring himself. If you've seen the teaser marketing campaign with the graphic look of him flipping through the air, right, that
was the first trailer, wasn't it?
That really was. That's basically the first 10 minutes of this film. The idea is then he goes away, he recovers, you literally see him covered in primer paint. So he's going to have a new paint job. And he teams up with his sponsor's new owner, who's played by Nathan Fillion, as a sleazy corporate type.
That's who you get.
That's who you get. Who has built up a new state-of-the-art training facility and is going to teach Lightning McQueen to race in the 21st century. But in order for him to learn all this, he's teamed up with a new female car who has her own racing ambitions that she is trying to not to indulge too much. We've got a clip.
Good luck out there, champ. You're gonna need it. One reason Storm and the next gens are more efficient, their ability to hold the optimum racing line every single lap.
Win number 3 for the rookie sensation.
Storm's in a class of his own, and a big reason for that, training on the newest cutting-edge simulators. These machines create a virtual racing experience so real, racers never even have to go outside.
Storm's ability to hold that line is like nothing we've ever seen.
4 in a row? Are you kidding me?
2% lower drag coefficient.
Oh, what a finish!
5% increased downforce.
Lucky number 7.
1.2% higher top speed.
Amazing!
Now, I have friends with kids, and they all seem to love cars.
Yeah, this is the big merchandise money spinner.
But this is it. It's still their most profitable film, Pixar. Yeah. And, it's not hard to see why, because the universe is so big. You had the plane spin-offs, etc. So it makes sense. I do think, as I say, by default, this is the best one of the Cars movies. By the way, that voice you were hearing in that clip, that was Kerry Washington.
Yeah, I thought so.
And that drove me mad in the actual film.
You trying to
figure out who it was.
Is she the primary love interest?
No, she's not.
Is Bonnie Hunt still in it?
Bonnie Hunt is still in it. Cool. Right, she is still Lightning McQueen's love interest. The female counterpart that he works with is not love interest.
It's platonic.
It's platonic, yeah.
We are talking about cars here.
We are talking about cars. However, that niggling thing we've always had? We've used the word niggling so much this week. Right, that thing we've always had about cars, which is if you stop to think about the logistics of how the universe works, it all gets a bit creepy.
It really does.
This film does not help that at all.
Are they car-people hybrids?
Well,
what
does death mean to a car?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, this film genuinely brings up that question. Because if you've wondered that about this series, this is the film that's really going to hammer it home.
Are the engines constantly on?
I don't know.
It brings about loads of questions, doesn't it?
If they're constantly on, how does it work? Are they fueled in the same way that we drink water? I don't know. It doesn't make... I wish they would explain it. Fuel? Exactly. Who mines the oil? Are there Are the oil drilling platforms actually sentient beings like the planes?
I found it strange in the first one where tractors are cows.
Well, yes, there's that, but for instance, there's Romans.
Different vehicles are different.
Think about it.
Species.
Think about it, right? Okay.
We've gone down.
Sally and Lightning are clearly in a relationship.
Yeah.
How do they show physical affection? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to come up with some sort of exhaust pipe petrol tank.
Save that for podcast extras. When it gets a little blue.
Okay, yeah. After dark.
After the watershed.
Right. So anyway, it is fun. It is exactly the story you think it is. Basically, it's Rocky 3 and 4 fused together.
Yeah. How is Army the Hammer?
Army the Hammer pretty much playing exactly the Army the Hammer role you think he will.
Exactly.
He's pretty much on smug form here.
Is Mater in it? A lot.
Thankfully, they have minimised his time. One very good thing about it, other than Nathan Fillion's in it, and Nathan Fillion should be in everything ever, is Paul Newman. They've gone back and they've got a lot, and they've really bolstered that part. And it is all about there's an element of Lightning having to discover his position as a mentor rather than as a contender.
Yes,
and following in the footsteps of the Paul. And they actually give the Paul Newman character, weirdly, retrospectively, a lot more story in the events of the films he was already in.
Yeah.
So it's strange how they've done that.
He really owned that role.
He really did.
Yeah, he really made it Newman's own. I'm done.
You are the worst person.
I can't top that.
Right, you know what? You're the worst person. That's it. No more for you.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back. So, Mr. Allen, what you got for me in the news?
I got some news about QT.
About QT?
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kavanjane. Oh, no, wrong cinema.
Kavanjane Tollis.
Kavanjane Tollis.
Yeah.
The evil doppelganger of...
Yeah, but we don't speak of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has started to line up his next film.
This would be his 9th, wouldn't it?
It would, because Hateful Eight was his 8th.
It wasn't just a clever title, then.
If you're seeing Kill Bill as one...
I think they are counting, because it was made as one film, wasn't it?
Yes.
So it was made as one film, so they count it as one film.
Yeah.
Even though it's part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
And Death Proof doesn't count as anything. So.
Well, technically it might be 5th, but yeah. What are your feelings on Death Proof? It's alright?
I preferred Planet Terror.
As do I.
Yeah, as do I. Yeah. Rose Beguiled with machine gun leg, man. That's,
you can't beat that.
That's how you sell a movie.
You cannot beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah. His next film is going to be about Charles Manson and the family and all the murders that lie wherein.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
because
which
of course,
is pretty good.
We all saw Wolves at the Door a few months ago because that was a massive hit.
Yeah.
And everyone was just demand, we need to see more. And
I feel like Quentin Tarantino film may get more of an audience from that, to be honest with you. And
Wolves at the Door was terrible.
Exactly, and he says he's got a fresh spin on it, a fresh take. And
okay, he's going to do it from Charlie's perspective.
That'd be amazing, yeah. Through Charlie's eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's been talking to Brad Pitt, who obviously was in Inglourious Basterds.
Yep.
Jennifer Lawrence, who was meant to be in something else. He was talking to her about Hateful Eight.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm presuming maybe she would have taken what was the...
the only female.
Yeah, the only female, the Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yes.
Role.
Who I think is amazing in that.
I think she's great in that.
So it's great. And then Margot Robbie as well, who is being touted as being a potential lead, and I think that'd be an amazing...
So Margot Robbie, Sharon Tate, that's what we're going with.
That's what we need.
Yeah, that's quite clearly.
Yeah, but he's still going with this like alternative history bent.
All I want to know is he going to do the thing that Wolves at the Door didn't? And is he going to involve Roman Polanski in any way, on screen or off? Because Wolves at the Door didn't even acknowledge his existence.
I hope so. Yeah, he'll get Christoph Waltz to play him as well.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, Christoph Waltz as Roman Polanski. I can totally see that.
When I think of Charles Manson, I just think of that like side gag on Family Guy when he's like watching all episodes of a show in prison. Yeah. It's like, if I hadn't seen it, it's new to me.
You know who I'd get to play to play Roman Polanski, in a movie? Who? Giovanni Ribisi in full Flight of the Phoenix mode.
Oh, yes.
That's casting.
Yeah.
Just imagine that performance.
Younger Roman Polanski, yeah, absolutely.
But he has to do the Flight of the Phoenix performance.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that.
You're wrong, Mr. Towns. So, let me talk about... hang on. Before we get to review the Beguiled, did you know that Charlie Sheen, an infamous 9/11 truther, is starring in a movie coming out on September 8th called September 11th?
I didn't know that, but of course, that's the world we live in now.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm assuming it's direct to DVD. But I don't know. If he's going to indulge one of his hobbies for the purposes of a film, why couldn't he just indulge his fanatical love of barbecue sauce? Yeah, because I at least share that with him.
Or if we have Tiger Blood, the movie.
Yeah, I'd totally go with that.
Yeah,
an animated movie called Tiger Blood.
That'd be pretty badass.
That really would, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about that.
Featuring the voices of Jackie Chan, Jet Li,
Jet Li as the Blood.
Right. Okay. The Beguiled. Let's get real now and talk Beguiled. Okay. So
I am so in on this film.
Right. Deservedly so. I'm happy to say deservedly so. I'm going to have to be quick because we've only got 5 minutes left. Well, less than. Anyway, right. So, adaptation, remake of the 1971, I believe, Don Siegel movie, which starred Clint Eastwood. Itself an adaptation of a 60s novel, A Painted Devil. The idea is you've got a wounded Union soldier, a Yankee, as it were, who is taken in by a relatively small, closed-off and secluded girls' school and nursed back to health. In the school are two teachers. You've got the sort of headmistress played by Nicole Kidman, her subordinate teacher who's played by Kirsten Dunst, who's a sort of impressionable up-and-coming teacher, and there's 5 girl students. One of them is Angourie Rice from The Nice Guys.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, Betty Brant.
Betty Brant, yeah. You've also got Elle Fanning, who seems to be the oldest of the bunch, and Una Lawrence, who is, you might remember from Pete's Dragon, wide-eyed young girl from Pete's Dragon, who is actually just increasingly impressive in these films now.
I love that film as well.
And the idea is that his presence, the soldier's presence in this school, brings with it an undercurrent of tension and scandal that will basically rock it all to its core and will forever change things, as it were. I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory if you don't know the story, but it is good. And we have a clip of Colin Farrell's wounded soldier working his charm on Miss Dunst.
Well, in all my travels, I've never come across such a delicate beauty as yours. Tell me something, will you? Miss Morrow. It's okay. If you could have anything, what's your biggest wish? If you could have anything in the world, what would it be?
Anything.
Yeah, anything.
To be taken far away from me.
So, Dunst, Farrell, Sofia Coppola.
She Dunst good.
So, right, I think this is Sofia Coppola's best film since Lost in Translation, and I say that as someone who, I don't like Lost in Translation, but I respect it as being a very, very well-made film. Okay.
Yeah, fair comment.
Give me my dues there.
Fair comment.
I'm saying I don't personally like it, but I understand. Yes, it's an incredibly well-made film, and I understand why it affects people in the way it does. That's fine.
Coincidentally, that is what Bill Murray says to Scarlett Johansson in the last minute.
It was Kafifi. Anyway, right. Or Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra, of course.
We see the same memes. That's the problem. We have no disparaging culture there. Right, okay. Great performances all round. Colin Farrell really knows the line to play with the sort of the charm element of this character, and it's a really well-gauged performance. Nicole Kidman was never going to be bad in this film. Let's be honest. There's never an issue there. Kirsten Dunst gets to do something kind of new for her, which is actually to go a little bit more naive, a bit more impressionable, a sort of character than we're used to her playing. We're used to her playing a bit more in the know than she is here. But the breakout star, Una Lawrence, genuinely fantastic. This girl needs to be the next big thing. She could be what Dakota Fanning was 20 years ago. 20 years ago? 15 years ago? 10 years ago?
How old do you think Dakota Fanning is?
I don't know. Last time I saw her, about 35? I don't know.
Yeah, 50 years ago. It's like Tobey Maguire.
That's 35. He was 93. Isn't Elle Fanning her daughter? I don't know. It just seems like that long ago now that Elle could feasibly be her daughter.
I don't actually know. I confuse them.
She was aging out in Push, and that was 1998. That was 2008. Sorry, 1998. Right. So, but the real star is Sofia Coppola, and old Miss Copes. She's brought it here. I mean, this is really it's got a really unsettling score by a French rock band named Phoenix. Fantastic cinematography.
I like the way you said that.
What?
A French rock band. You might have heard of them. Phoenix? Phoenix are a
I
big
didn't say you
band.
might have heard of them. I don't think
it's the way that you...
French rock band named Phoenix. I've never heard of them before this.
Sofia Coppola is married to their lead singer.
Is she? Oh, okay, well, that explains an awful lot.
There we go.
Brilliant cinematography, wonderful setup, and I like the way that her script sort of segs in and out of different genres and really plays with the sensibilities of each genre accordingly, and it makes you get comfortable with one element and then pulls the rug out from under that and gives you another. So, on the whole, it plays like a psychological horror movie. But if you actually, on a minute-to-minute basis, it goes everywhere from a straight drama to an erotic thriller to a soldier of war movie, and it really, really does the job all round on every count.
All over the shop.
It's all over the shop, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's a good shopping mall.
It is. It plays with expectations and sensibilities in a very clever, very calculated way.
If you were to liken it to an actual shop, what would it be?
If I had to like it to an actual shop, well, Laura Ashley, it's classy.
Classy, fair.
Classy
nice.
Affair, man.
Yeah.
Like Laura Ashley. It's like a really nice pair of Laura Ashley curtains.
So it's better than Kath Kidston, because Kath Kidston's a film, but he thinks it's better than it is.
Kath Kidston, that's too flashy, man. That's too flashy. That's a
Laura
Sandra Bullock
Ashley,
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kath Kidston's a Sandra Bullock vehicle.
Yeah, it's Sandy B trying to get a second Oscar.
That's totally what that is. Yeah, that's totally what it is. So yeah, definitely see The Beguiled. It is very, very good.
Yes, can't wait.
It is not our film of the week though.
Shocker.
We have to give it to Wolf of Planet of the Apes. It's good.
So good.
It's too good. But if you're going and Wolf of Planet of the Apes is sold out at the multiplex, which it very well could be, do go and see The Beguiled. Do check it out. And also, Beguiled is 90 minutes.
Oh, is it?
It's only 90 minutes. And it leaves you pleading for more. Like, genuinely, just begging for more. Like, I could have sat through another half hour of this.
That's good to know, because I'm seeing a few films on Friday.
Well, there you go. It's a 90-minuter.
You're saving some time.
There you go. It's a 90-minuter, and every minute counts. It is very worth it. So, we're giving War of Planet of the Apes film of the week. I think we can agree on that, can't we? It's very good.
Of course, yeah. I mean, by default, it's the only film I've seen, so I'm going to give that, but I loved it.
Well, so competitions, we've got to plug the competitions. Go on onscreenfilm.com, enter to win pop-up screens tickets, to win Blu-rays of A Quiet Passion, and DVDs for Neruda, Hidden Figures, and The Age of Shadows. All very good films, all very worth seeing. We wouldn't willingly give them away if they were awful, put it that way. But
that's a good point.
This is a very good point.
That's a good point.
I couldn't knowingly put my name to it, but okay.
So we will never be giving out Transformers The Last Night around Christmas.
I don't think we've never run a Transformers competition. I don't think we ever have. Anyway, so
there's time. Michael, give us a shout.
we did run a competition for 2x2, the Oops Noah is Gone competition a couple of years ago. But anyway, right. So podcast edition. Don't forget to check out the extended podcast edition on iTunes, Deezer, TuneIn, whatever. Acast, Digital Bling, all that good stuff. In the meanwhile, that's really up for us this week. Next week's fun. We have some extended fun next week because we're off the week after.
Yes, just living a life.
Yeah, so how about in the radio show, we'll review that week's films, that week's releases, and in the podcast extras, we'll review the week after. How about that?
That sounds like a plan.
So, films that are actually out, We've got Monster Island, which is an animated thing. We've got City of Ghosts, which is a live-action thing. We've got Scribe, which is a French thing.
Oh, is that French and the live-action thing?
And a live-action thing.
Oh yeah. We know how to treat you right.
Yeah, then we got Captain Underpants, which is an animated thing. Computer animated thing.
Nick Kroll is it?
Yeah, is it? Okay. And then we've got Dunkirk, which is a Christopher Nolan thing.
Which is a war thing.
Which is a war thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Hans Zimmer playing the organ really loud.
It's going to be a hell of a time.
There's going to be a bit where the organ goes...
Oh, there's going to be some wham.
There's going to be loads of wham.
We've also got, we'll do these in the podcast extras, The Big Sick, which I really, really enjoyed when I saw it a couple of weeks ago.
I can't wait to see that.
Spoiler alert, I really enjoyed that. Hounds of Love, which I haven't screened yet.
That's not a Kate Bush by
no,
is it?
Sadly
Shame.
not. The Wall, which stars Aaron Taylor-Johnson
John Cena.
John Cena.
Yes.
Yeah. And 47 Metres Down, which has Mandy Moore in a swimsuit for 90 minutes. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, wait, there's a shark. Yeah. So we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been a Candy Store production for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I have been Caesar.
And we'll return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
So, Disney cannot find leads for the Aladdin live action.
I know. Right,
apparently... This is a podcast section.
Oh, yeah.
Hello,
podcast,
good afternoon, good evening, good morning.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And that's it for podcast sections.
We shall return. Here's Mona Cage.
Can't find anyone to be Aladdin or Jasmine.
Right, here's what I don't get. Right, okay, no. But they have two choices for Jasmine.
But, yes,
they have two choices for Jasmine.
I take it back.
I forget the Indian actress's name. There's an Indian actress, and the other one is Naomi Scott from Power Rangers.
Yes.
And they won't settle on either one until
they've
they've chemistry tested.
Yes, which makes sense, because you don't want to have like a Jasmine that you really love, and then suddenly you put him with this Aladdin that's not...
Well, why not? I mean, Beauty and the Beast, we had a Belle that we really loved, and...
How dare you speak
I'm kidding.
of Dan Stevens.
I know, this century's Carrie Elwes. Anyway.
He is, absolutely.
So... Here's what I don't get. Right, they want someone between 25 and 35 of Middle Eastern or Indian origin. I mean, I've offered. You've
been waiting by the phone.
I've gone shirtless for them. I've sent them pics, and all I got was a restraining order.
Yeah. Have you got you a magic carpet as well?
Well, no, I just showed up at their office shirtless and carrying a rug, and apparently that's not okay, and I was asked politely to leave.
Yeah, those are like restraining order.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not.
It got unpleasant.
Yeah,
and they won't give me my monkey back.
To be fair, that's how Jared Leto gets all of his roles. Just
turns up shirtless with a rug.
Well, then again, not saying anything negative about you, my friend, but Jared Leto showing
I am no Jared Leto. I accept that I am no Jared Leto, sir.
Yeah. Apparently, they did go after names before thinking, "Hey, let's try and find some unknowns."
I heard Dev Patel.
Obvious
choice.
Riz Ahmed. Yeah, the obvious choices. Yeah, obviously. Both great actors.
Both great actors, although a little bit lazy as to choices. Well, not a lot lazy. Lack of options, I would say, which is who of the Middle Eastern, Indian, Pakistani persuasion have we got acting currently in mainstream films? Oh, wait, we can fit them on a post-it note. Okay, just go after them.
Exactly.
Oh, there's only two of them.
Plus, also, if you can get an unknown and be that confident with them,
you don't have to pay them that much.
Well, there's that, to put it cynically, but you could also kind of sell it on that a little bit like when Chris Hemsworth got Thor, because he only...
Well, yeah, I mean, you were seeing that movie for the character, weren't you, more than anything else?
But, exactly, and just like pad it out with movie stars.
Oh, yeah, that's totally what you're going to do. Oh, because apparently you are getting a name actor for Jafar. So, only thing is...
They were talking to Tom Hardy. I don't want it to be Tom Hardy.
No, I mean, my thing is, how annoying is it that Tim Curry is now the age he is?
I know.
Because how amazing would... Because I always thought it was Tim Curry that did the animated voice.
No, I don't know.
Well, we've both seen...
what's his name? Is it David Ogden Stiers?
No, we've seen the documentary.
Oh, yeah, where we talked to...
the autism documentary. Life Animated.
Oh, so good.
He's in it. The guy who does the voice. He's Jonathan something.
Oh, I thought it was David Ogden's... I thought it was the guy that plays the bad guy in Hunchback as well.
No, he's Jonathan something... because he's physically in it. We actually see him. And he looks like nothing you'd expect.
I like when I'm looking something up and I put a pen in my mouth and I feel like I work at the New York Times.
You do look like an old school journalist with the glasses and the headphones and the... Yeah.
I got a hot scoop.
There's been a big ticket, kid.
You got me big.
Yeah, I'm big in this town. I know all about his bird. Was it mild-mannered reporter for a major metropolitan newspaper?
But yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because Lion King isn't coming out until 2019. Obviously, they need to do all the posts. And posts are going to take like a year and a half.
But Aladdin's, a lot of that's going to be live action as well.
Yeah,
so...
but it was supposed to be filming this month.
Yes, and they've had to push it back a month.
Which is still like...
Which you're like, you're not finding this in a month, because if you've not cast Jafar, you've not cast Aladdin, you've not decided on Jasmine...
Unless we have got those names and we're just waiting for Aladdin.
That's true. Nobody's even asked Anthony Hopkins or Alfred Molina if they want to be the Sultan yet. And...
Alfred Molina's got to be the Sultan.
Of course he is. Alfred Molina's going to be the Sultan. We all know this. We don't know where Omid Jalili's going to turn up in it yet. And that's...
In the market.
That's it.
He will be the one that wants to cut off Jasmine's hand.
Yeah, he totally will. Yeah. Because that's obviously Omid Jalili.
That's who you get.
And no one's spoken to Edward Norton about being Jafar yet. So, that's how this is going.
He's a shade too white.
Yeah, but Antonio Banderas is not the colour of an Arab, yet has played one roughly 6 times with the aid of bronzer.
Yeah, and still with a really thick Hispanic accent.
Yes.
Yeah. Jonathan Freeman.
Jonathan Freeman, thank you. Again, Gilbert Gottfried was Iago. They haven't cast Iago. I mean, come on.
For me, that is a...
Nick Kroll.
No.
I
just want it to be... I want it to be him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like...
Miller.
It's like Mufasa.
TJ Miller.
Nick Kroll over TJ Miller. If you've got to have a new...
I think I've someone new. Go on, TJ Miller. It'd be amazing.
No, I've TJ Miller for someone else. Save him for... Do you know who...
He needs to be an old Jewish guy. It just needs to be an irascible old Jewish guy. That's why Gilbert Gottfried was great.
That's a good point, yeah.
He was about 40, but he still sounded like an irascible old Jewish guy, and that was the...
I've seen Nicole play an irascible old Jewish-ish guy. And he was amazing.
Yeah,
he was great.
Oh, hello.
Yes, exactly.
Which is on Netflix now.
Which is on Netflix, yeah. Have you seen?
No, I've
not
watched it yet. I've not watched the Dion Cole thing either.
Oh, that's great.
And Friends from College is now on Netflix, isn't it?
Is that
next week?
I think that's next week.
Oh, it's I think it's the 14th. I think it's on.
I believe so.
It's this Friday.
Yeah, just TJ Miller and live action Disney castings. What is the name of the bird that's in The Little Mermaid?
The bird that's in The Little Mermaid, the seagull.
A seagull.
I don't know.
I think he'd be great for that.
He would be very good for that.
Yeah. Do you know who I've got down as Triton?
Go on.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh, that'd be good.
Who else do you get?
Oh, there was a nonsense story, put out yesterday by the Facebook page for RuPaul's Drag Race.
Start your engines.
Yeah. Which, without quoting a source, without telling us anything about this information...
Was it Andrew Garfield?
just claimed that Disney were doing a live-action Little Mermaid with Kathleen Turner as Ursula and Liam Neeson as Triton. Now, I looked that up because I would love to see Kathleen Turner as Ursula. I think she'd be a fantastic Ursula. However, there is no evidence of that anywhere in the world. And I know this because I kept getting distracted and wound up reading 5 separate interviews with Kathleen Turner because I just find the woman that fascinating.
You just fell down a Kathleen Turner hole.
Look, as a child, Kathleen Turner was my dream woman. I aspired to grow old to the point that I could date a woman like Kathleen Turner.
Hey, I've seen Romance of the Stone more times than I should have.
Look, I never got to see her in the stage version of The Graduate, which I'm told she was terrific in.
Did she do that?
Yes, she did.
Oh, my
days. Dude, full frontal. Wow. All I'm saying. But anyway... So
this podcast took a very swift and perverted turn.
It really did. It really did. Yeah. But okay, well, I keep thinking let's do a review, and then we don't have a review.
She's Chandler's dad. Let me redeem myself.
In one of the interviews, she did say, "I'm known to a younger generation now, evidently, as Chandler's dad."
Yeah.
Which fair enough.
Which is great. But I will always think of her in Romance of Stone and
War of the Roses. War of the Roses for me.
So good. But, why doesn't Danny DeVito direct more films?
I don't know. He's so good, isn't he?
Because that. Matilda is obviously incredible.
Yeah. Oh, didn't he? Did he? He didn't direct Other People's Money, did he? It's one of my favourite Danny DeVito movies.
I don't think he directed it. He directed Throw Mama from a Train.
Ah, that was it.
Which I love.
I love that too.
I love that film so much.
You lied to me. Bing!
Yeah. And then he directed... It was called Duplex in America and then Something Over Here.
I think it was actually called The House, wasn't it?
Was it?
But just weirdly, it was called The House. But yeah,
it's a generic enough title.
It wasn't very good, either.
No, but he has made some great films.
You know what's weird about Throw Mama from the Train now?
What?
Is that there's like a 25-year-old Catherine Janeway in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all tend to forget that.
Yeah, it's Red.
Yeah, it's Red. Yeah, Red and Captain Janeway. But
that is a great film.
Oh, I love that movie. If you've never seen Throw Mama from the Train, first of all, shame on you. It's a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Secondly, it is a comedic remake of Strangers on a Train by Alfred Hitchcock with Danny DeVito and Billy Crystal, which is the greatest pitch for a movie ever.
Yeah, it's amazing. I forgot the name of the actress that plays his mum, but I can't remember. She got nominated for an Oscar.
Did she?
Because it's
a great
she's
performance.
so good. Yeah.
But War of the Roses, that's my Kathleen Turner.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
They were like such a great trio, weren't they?
They were. The three of them together were fantastic.
Yeah. I remember they were in the Billy Ocean music video as well.
Really?
For Going Get Tough. But like pretending to be like the backing singers. And, yeah.
I did not know this. Film news.
Why do I keep that knowledge? I don't know. I don't know how to change the tyre. I don't know how to bleed a radiator.
You don't know how to change a tyre?
I'm sure I could figure it out, but Google helps.
Pretty straightforward, changing a tyre.
I'd still panic and just like cry on the side of a road. Someone help me.
I'll be honest, my current car and the one before it didn't have a spare tyre because the boot space is non-existent.
It's okay because your car is so fancy and now just changes its own tyres.
My car is not that fancy.
It just grows a new tyre. It's sentient.
My car is definitely not
sentient
that fancy. The fanciest thing in my car is the Apple system.
Yes.
But other than that, it's a 10-year-old, nearly 10-year-old car, man. But
as you know, I went to go see It Comes at Night.
Oh, I do indeed.
Well.
This was I think you're going to do the film news I was about to say.
Yeah.
Does this involve the director
segueing beautifully. Yes. Yeah. Trey Edward Schultz.
Yes.
Yeah, which I didn't know his. What else did he direct?
Krisha. It's on Netflix shortly. That was his breakout.
Yeah, and then from that he got this.
Well, he was wasn't he a DP or a cinematographer on other filmmakers?
Is he his own cinematographer on It Comes at Night? Because it looks.
I think he is. If you look him up, though,
beautiful.
he has an extensive background working for other big directors. He's sort of spun off into his own thing now, yeah. But, so he's done It Comes at Night. What is he looking to do next, Mr. Allen?
He's looking at something even more terrifying.
Which is?
Kanye West.
That is genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, he wants to do a biopic about
Kanye
Yeezy.
West. About Yeezy.
Yeezy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be amazing.
Look,
I find him fascinating the way that I used to find Prince fascinating.
Look, if you can get Kevin Hart to agree to it...
I'm not saying he's as good as Prince, obviously, but...
You get Kevin Hart to agree to it, I'm in. Yeah. But, other than that, I don't think Kanye would willingly go along with it, though. Because, he's a, air quote, genius.
I'm a genius.
What do we know about fish sticks? They're breaded. I'm a genius. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he would go along with it. And then change his mind.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd be back on board.
And then he'd want to direct himself.
But then he would say minds prevail, let someone else direct it, but then he'd want to be the producer, the costumer.
Oh, he would.
Yeah.
I seem to remember at one point he was going to be the costumier for Robert Rodriguez's live-action Jetsons movie. But that never happened. Well, that was a thing a couple of years ago. That was going to happen.
That would have been great.
That was actually going to happen. We were going to get a live-action Jetsons movie with costumes made by Kanye West.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So,
there's some, alternate world that's better than this.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to look through the news myself. There's the... there's a lot of stuff about Valerian at the minute. That seems... Because that's getting press shown at the moment in the US.
Yeah, it's getting fairly decent reviews.
Well, it's critic-proof and failure-proof. So, agree what you will.
He's the king of Europe, isn't he? Well,
he really
king
is.
of Europa.
Of Europa Corps, yes, exactly. But trying to think what else we've got. Yeah. So, Juan Cole Serra.
Yes, I was just about to say about this. He is the frontrunner to direct Suicide Squad Part 2.
So that long-awaited sequel that we're sure is going to be amazing.
I quite like him as a director.
I like him as a director. He's ruthlessly efficient. I'm fine with that.
Is he going to put sharks in it? Because he was really good.
I hope so.
Doing The Shallows.
Funnily enough, because 47 Metres Down is going to be discussed next week, The Shallows has been on my mind a bit this week.
Has it?
So.
We should just have a shark week and just watch loads of shark films.
What, you mean like the one that's got a sequel out at the end of this month?
There's another Jaws.
Exactly. Oh, that was it. These DC animated universe movies we get now?
Yeah.
First of all, funnily enough, weird story, the guy who does the voice of Batman in those is my friend's brother.
Interesting.
And I didn't know that, despite the fact they have they have the same surname and it's not exactly a common one.
What's his name?
The actor is Jason O'Mara.
Right.
Who you might know, he was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for like a year. He was in Terra Nova.
Right.
Terra Nova and the American remake of Life on Mars. He's my friend SJ's brother. Anyway, so the latest one of these, it's been announced, these direct-to-DVD animated DC movies, is going to be Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
Do you know this story?
It sounds like steampunk Batman.
It is steampunk Batman. Do you know the plot?
Actually, no.
It is. Right.
Does Kenneth Branagh show up in a giant spider?
Right, first of all, here's a picture. That is Gotham by Gaslight.
Oh my, I want that.
I know. You're getting
amazing.
this as an animated film. And the plot is, get this, Batman versus Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Are you cool with that?
I'm all in.
Okay, good. Because
I want the Matt Reeves film to be fair.
Yeah, you're going to get that next year. Oh, Matt Reeves is doing a proper detective one. I'm looking forward to that.
He's doing a noir. I think that's going to have Hush in it. And I would love that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it will be Hush.
Oh, Baywatch is now a success story, by the way.
Says you.
Well, I already said it was a success story. No, apparently, now that the global box office is closing out, it turns out it has made money overseas. So,
okay,
fair enough. That's fair. It's
you
made money
realize
overseas.
I'm not the face of the world's press. You don't have to you have to convince me.
I do.
It's fine.
I do. I have
You're
to
looking at me like
Look, I don't sleep at night unless I feel like I've convinced you, Mr. Allen.
I don't give a shiv. Like he's got enough money. He's making skyscrapers. He's making rampages. He's making Jumanjis.
Right.
He's doing fine.
Can we go with the stupidest quote of the week, which comes from Marvel head Kevin Feige, whatever you want to say.
Oh, not Amy Pascal.
Not Amy Pascal for a change. She's taking a week off. She's got money to count. It turns out if you want her to stop saying stupid things...
Yeah, you need to save them yourself.
Yeah, you give her some box office receipts and she sits there and counts money instead.
Yeah.
That, it turns out, is easier. Right, Kevin Feige has turned around and claimed Thor Ragnarok will, and I quote, drastically change the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Why is that silly?
Well, because they already put out a trailer that showed what do you call it, Asgard getting burnt to the ground.
Yeah, it's a pretty drastic change.
That's a pretty drastic change. If nothing else, isn't that bordering on genocide?
I don't know. This seems like a bit of a non-story. I think it was something that he said.
Like,
not
I need to say something.
Be a story, and
like,
maybe he said it to just take some of the pressure away from Amy Pascal.
Yeah, if I just give them something. Oh, Thor's got end credits. There you go.
Yeah, just shocker. It ties into Avengers: Infinity War.
Tie them off with the nugget.
Charlize Theron or Charlize Theron.
Yeah,
I think it's Theron.
I don't know.
She says, but the script for Mad Max Furiosa is ready to go.
Really? Is this the prequel they wanted to do?
The prequel.
I would watch that.
I'd totally watch her. She's amazing.
She's great, isn't she? Although,
so
she did an interview. I'm going to have to get ready to edit this one out because if I quote her properly, we can't do it on radio. Right, she's done an interview this last week, and I think part of this has to be because Ghost in the Shell came out this year. Someone asked her about Aeon Flux,
yeah.
And she's been quite candid about it. After all, it's been 12 years. And she
has it really?
Yeah, and she has now proclaimed, we that all up. And you think, you know what? You're absolutely right. You did show
I appreciate your candor.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Do you know, actually, she is the only person not confirmed to be returning for the next Fast and Furious movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, because it sets it up as if she's going to be a part of the larger world.
I'll get you next time, Spider-Man!
Yeah, that's the last thing I do. Yeah, it's definitely
next
that
time,
kind of thing.
Gadget. Next time.
Even if she's just there, like, through Skype or something. Like, she's a hacker, isn't she? So.
Well, hackers don't use Skype. What hackers are you? Your version of Mr. Robot must be terrifying.
I do the Donald Trump Jr. hacking where I just give people my emails.
Just give people your information. Like, you put on Twitter, here's my credit card info, good luck. But okay, Felicity Jones has got an interesting new project on the way. She's doing
Jin
Erso. Or as I like to think of her,
Jin herself.
Inferno arm candy. So, yeah.
Nice.
I literally was made to watch about 40 minutes of Inferno at the weekend and I hate that movie even more now.
Yeah, I've still not seen it. I won't see it.
There is a great line, though, in it from Irfan Khan in which he says, not my finest work, but it'll do for the Italians. And you can't help but feel
Ron Howard
adequately reviews the film on Ron Howard's part.
Just a quick side note about Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson has been also promoting War for Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And he was on Stephen Colbert the other day.
Is this where he's accidentally said the title or something? I haven't heard it. What is it?
Yeah. Well, there's an Instagram picture he put up. And he was wearing... You know, like some films, you make like T-shirts. With
like they do fleeces and they do jackets and things.
Like the emblem or title of the film, and it says "Solo," a Star Wars story. So that's potentially the title.
You're really enjoying this reporter shtick with the pen.
Yeah, I need to put it down.
It's a banking pen as well, isn't it? Which bank have you lifted this from?
I didn't.
Casino Online Mobile? I have no idea.
I don't know what that is. It showed up on my desk.
Yeah, okay.
There we are.
So the Felicity Jones thing, you know the guy that's doing the remake of Suspiria at the minute, Lolo...
Suspiria.
Yeah. Suspiria. I don't know. He's got a long Italian name. Well, he is now going to be making Swan Lake.
Cool.
Without the ballet element. He's actually doing the straight story from Swan Lake.
That was the one thing that was ruining the ballet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the most famous ballet in the world just ruined all that ballet. But,
it would have been great if there was no ballet.
It's like that Nutcracker. No nuts. What's a lie?
Hey, Nutcracker, get cracking. No nuts.
Yeah. I came here to see nuts being cracked. Taking a Michael now. Did we talk about the Edward James Olmos 9/11 movie?
I don't think we did.
We talked about the Charlie Sheen one, but no. Right, Ryan Guzman, who you might remember as being the nutter from The Boy Next Door, that awful J-Lo suburban club. Right, he is going to play the son of Edward James Olmos in a movie that's being directed by the son of Edward James Olmos. Yeah.
Edward James Olmos, but not quite.
Exactly. Yeah. Edward James Olmos the second, or EJO2. But,
EJO2.
But that's actually got to be a chemical formula, sure, if you see it.
It's got to be, yeah.
It's going to be called Windows on the World, and it is going to be about Edward James Olmos' character being in the Twin Towers during 9/11, and his son having to make the journey to find him. Making the journey from Mexico, to find him. So that's,
sounds pretty good.
Could be interesting.
Yeah. John Williams will not be scoring Ready Player One.
Will he not?
He won't. He will, however, be scoring The Papers, which is Senor Spielberg's next
Every time you say it, I hear Sorry Married an Axe Murder, The Papers.
You hear what?
Sorry Married an Axe Murder. He says, it's great how you refer to the Weekly World News as The Papers.
Woman. Whoa, man.
Whoa.
Oh, I need to see that film.
Josie and those hot pussy cats.
Not doing Ready Player One, just because he's busy. He's got a lot on his plate. And also, he's about 105.
He is now, yeah. He's in his 80s, isn't he?
He's in his 80s. Yeah. He's getting up there. But Alan Silvestri is taking over.
Oh.
And he's done...
Respectable choice.
He's done a few, hasn't he?
Yeah. Belted out a couple of decent ones over the years, hasn't he?
Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, and other films as well. And other Robert Zemeckis films.
Have you heard about My Dinner with Herve?
Yes.
Peter Dinklage is going to play...
The Dinkles.
The Dinkles is going to play the actor from...
Herve,
the actor from Fantasy Island. Yeah. And it's basically about his night out with a journalist, and it will change their lives forever, is the quote. The journalist will be played by, who's his name? Christian Grey. What's his name?
Jamie
Dornan.
Dollface.
Yeah. Well, Andy Garcia's joined it to play Ricardo Montalban.
Which is amazing.
That's good casting, isn't it?
Great casting.
Oh, man. I love Ricardo. I don't know why I just have this weird soft spot for Ricardo Montalban.
Andy Garcia could be a good Jafar.
Oh, yes. Excellent Jafar. Yes.
Jafar's close.
That's terrible.
We had a bunch of these yesterday.
You are the worst. You know that, don't you?
I know. I really know.
No.
Yeah. Have you heard about old Clinton? Clinton Eastwood.
Clinton Eastwood, what's he doing now?
His next film is going to be called The 3:17 to Paris, which is, surprise, surprise, a real life war hero tragedy film. That's his bag.
He seems to enjoy those, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's cast real life soldiers who were involved in the situation to play themselves.
Oh, okay then. As one does.
Yeah, and also Judy Greer's going to be there.
So it's just like that movie, Private Parts, when Howard Stern played himself.
Yeah,
except not at all.
Yeah, it's like a weird sort of heightened version of himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an odd film.
I meant more that it's not like that at all, but
yeah. That was the only example you could think of.
There's the only example I can think of someone playing themselves in a movie offhand, despite the fact that, certain historical figures do it all the time. But,
John Malkovich.
Oh yeah.
That's the first one I think of when I think of someone playing himself in film.
Of course you would think of that, because your mind automatically goes to like 3 actors, one of them is John Cusack.
Malkovich.
Fine. What else you got for me? Because
I'm tempted for that just being my next piece of news. My next piece of news is Malkovich.
see Jurassic World? Jurassic World sequel's finished, hasn't it?
Oh, is it finished shooting?
By the way, I can't remember. Is it Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom or Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom?
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I really hate it. I really hate that title.
Fair enough, okay. But it's finished filming this week.
Sounds like a Transformers film.
Does a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. And there's no Jake Johnson. However, there is Jeff Goldblum, so swings around.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts, yeah.
On Jeff Goldblum's Instagram page, he just keeps like putting a picture of himself in London, standing next to statues, just being Goldblum.
Great. I'm absolutely on board with that. I just want Jeff Goldblum back.
You'd see him doing anything, wouldn't you?
I want them now to reboot The Fly and give us that Fly 3 that we've all been waiting for. And
I won't be surprised if it announced a new Fly at some point.
Oh, they'll remake it at some point. Now we're getting we're getting a rebootful, aren't we, for Flatliners, not a remake. So,
rebootful, yeah, because Kiefer is going to be in it.
Yeah, your boy.
Paul Kiefer. And James Norton, who I really like.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of James. You were really taken aback by my like of James Norton.
Yeah, I just was taken aback. I was like, okay.
Well, did you just find him to just be like, just a non-presence? So.
No, no one ever talked about.
It's good. Watch Happy Valley.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it'll be Bond. A lot of people think it'll be.
Happy. When do you watch Happy Valley? The stuff you don't watch, but you fit in Happy Valley.
I've got a life outside of you.
Yeah, and it involves Happy Valley. That's what concerns me.
You've clearly never seen it. It's really great.
Well, I get that, but the stuff
really
that's
good.
amazing that I know you haven't seen,
yeah,
but you've seen
the man
Happy
that
Valley.
This week saw the death of Louis XIV and had a swell all time.
I watched a French Regency figure die slowly for nearly 2 hours.
You could be watching 2 episodes of Happy Valley and having a great time.
Hey, don't get me wrong.
What do you think Happy Valley is even about?
Isn't it the hillsidey Welshy thing about cops or something in the hills or something?
Yeah, I mean it's in Yorkshire, so
it's in Yorkshire. Oh, okay,
yeah,
sorry.
That's why
I knew there was a valley.
Yeah, no,
it just looked Welsh to me. Every time I see hills, I think Wales.
It's got Lancashire as an amazing, like, badass policewoman granny.
Yeah,
and she like solves crimes and like busts up like drug rings, and no one believes her, and she's amazing.
I'm sorry, I've got a rule.
What? Can't watch anything with Sarah Lancashire?
No. I don't watch British series about solving crimes.
Why?
Because I don't like seeing ex-soap stars, and that's all they do now. This is the rule. If you're starting a soap, you get to go and solve.
Soap star one in it.
There isn't.
No.
Okay, yeah, but it's just tiresome. That's all British TV is. Now, I know you could make the argument that American TV is no better with its love of procedurals.
I feel like I'm about to.
But, you know what?
Just off with your Chicago Fire and your Chicago MD and your Chicago PD.
Chicago Justice.
Chicago Justice.
Don't forget Chicago Justice, because Dick Wolf's paying his mortgage with that now.
Dick Wolf is such a good name.
I know it really is. But, I went to, Monday night, I went to MK3D at a BFI, which is Mark Kermode live in 3D, this is what it's tutored as. And it's just like an evening of film discussion. He has guests up on the...
I did wonder what it was about.
Well, he had the costumes, Lindy Hemming, the costume designer for Wonder Woman and Dunkirk.
Oh, cool.
And he had George Mackay from Pride.
Of course, he's great.
Who I didn't realise, and because I've not seen this reported anywhere, you know that film Ophelia? He's Hamlet. So Daisy Ridley is Ophelia, he is Hamlet.
That's cool.
There you go. But the thing was, he was talking about movie posters, and he showed you the poster was Silent Running, and how there were like no names on it. And one of the low-level names that was ignored at the time was Stephen Boccio, who's Stephen Bochno, but they misspelled it as Boccio.
Boccio.
Yeah, so because you mentioned Dick Wolf, Stephen Boccio is arguably about as successful for the same thing, really, isn't he?
George McKay was really good in Captain Fantastic. Did you ever see that?
I never got to see Captain Fantastic.
You should really give it a watch.
I did see him in the hallway though, when I was on my way back from men's room. I'm like, Bromley! And
yeah, he's a really
I'd
good
imagine
actor.
he gets that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard Mark Kermode talk about him before. He must be a really big fan.
Refers to him as gorgeous George Mackay.
Right.
So,
yeah. Do you know who directed Captain Fantastic?
Matt Ross.
Yeah.
Who's what's his name from Silicon Valley? Peter Gregory. Peter Gregory?
No, he's the other one. Gavin Belson.
Gavin Belson. Oh man, I always get the two confused. But yeah, one of the
best friends, yeah.
But the one who is still living, because obviously one passed away.
Yeah. Garrett played Peter Gregory.
We've not talked about this, by the way. Did you get to the end of the most recent series of Silicon Valley?
No, I'm about 3 episodes behind.
Oh, man.
Too busy watching Happy Valley.
Of course you are. You see, this is the problem with you. You know what I say about things you could be watching? There you go. watching your murder solving in the Yorkshire Dales.
Like to watch my stories, thank you very much.
But didn't her daddy sell the coal mine?
Yeah. No, I will watch it. Sometimes I really have to like be in the mood for it, and then I watch like 5 episodes.
I've got, sat waiting to watch, I've got a cable anthology series, like The Outer Limits, but it's called Dimension 404. That I'm looking forward to.
And you don't have time to watch Happy Valley?
Look, I don't care. No, I'm watching Dimension 404 first.
Just watch.
Then I'm going to watch Handmaid's Tale, because I've not seen a single episode of that yet.
That's fair. Watch that. Oh my
God.
And then we'll talk about it next week.
I need some Lizzie in my life, you know.
Oh,
and
she's amazing.
I'm told she is.
I need to watch the trailer for The Square, actually. It came on yesterday and I've not seen it.
I've no idea what that is.
The Square is a film by... what's his name? This guy that did that film about the Avalanche, and I am stalling because I can't think.
No, I got no clue.
What's his name? Anyway, it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know every time someone says Palme d'Or, I actually envision...
Force Majeure.
Force Majeure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, every time someone says Palme d'Or, I always actually envision a door in the shape of a palm tree.
Yeah.
So.
Sadly, they don't have that. They did have an award called the Palme Dog.
You're kidding me.
That was the year when The Artist won it, and then they gave the Palme Dog to the dog from The Artist.
Oh, who's dead now?
I know. Let's not think about dead celebrity dogs, because I'll start thinking about Moose from Frasier.
I was going to say, we know that Eddie from Frasier is long dead now.
I think there was a couple of Frasier dogs.
Was there? Yeah. I thought Moose was the same one all the way. Mind you, it went on for 13 years, didn't it?
There was like a famous one called Moose.
Yeah, I know. I always remember Moose.
Yeah, it's a great name for a dog.
Well, of course it is. Yeah. But anyway, don't get me misty out. My little girl's on holiday. So,
oh, is she?
Yeah, she's away enjoying the beach. So
love her.
She's fine. But her parents staying with me. I can't have my dog around. Yeah. But
you got any news?
I'm all out.
I ain't got any news.
I'm all out. I can't even think. I know
we've been talking about Happy Valley for about 20 minutes.
I know. But I just as long as we never get a movie adaptation I have to review, we'll be all right.
This isn't news, but some new images of Black Panther.
Oh yeah, we saw a couple of these earlier.
So obviously we can't transmit these.
You can't transmit them verbally
into you. Yeah,
doesn't really work
into your head. But they are great. If you have access to the internet, go on.
Go and check them out.
Go on, have a look.
Well, I'm just pulling up the news feeds, and
Forrest Whitaker's got weird dots on his face. It looks really cool.
Yeah, but Forrest Whitaker always looks cool. Forrest Whitaker is cool.
He is cool.
But isn't he more Jungle Whitaker in this one though?
Yes, yeah.
More jungle than forest, really.
Oh, we really need that. Something like a Desert Whitaker.
Desert Whitaker, there we are.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman's going to make her Broadway debut.
In what?
Hang on, The Parisian Woman by Beau Willimon. Okay. Not really terribly aware of that, but all right, fair enough. I don't know what else we got here. 15 million people use Rokus. Really? I don't know a single person who has a Roku.
I don't know what a Roku is.
Oh, it's a set-top box, kind of like an Apple TV or a Fire Stick.
Oh.
But it's very, very easily hackable. But, yeah. No, okay, I'm pretty much saying I'm going, President Trump claims to have very little time for watching TV because he's too busy covering things up. Let's see, what else? I don't watch TV.
Because it's not very high quality, and the transparency...
He's a high quality person.
Yeah, the transparency is broken on my TV.
Can I read you the greatest headline I've ever heard?
Please.
Woody Allen's jazz concert in Germany disrupted by topless feminists. Okay, I'll go with that. Just, yeah. Why? Okay, first of all, why was Woody Allen holding a jazz concert? Why was it in Germany? Why did topless feminists care? Why were they topless even?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange old world, isn't it?
President Trump says son was open, transparent, and innocent. My son, Donald, in case you know, did a good job.
Oh, he knows the name of this kid.
Yeah, there we go, yeah.
This kid he knows the name.
He doesn't just call it number 4.
It's not like Ivanka -2. Okay.
Yeah, Ivanka with a penis and brown hair.
Man Ivanka, that's what.
Man Ivanka. My son Donald.
Brunette man Ivanka. Sorry.
My son Donald did a good job last night. He was open, transparent, and innocent. This is the greatest witch hunt in political history. Sad. So he's bringing up the classics, bringing it back.
You need to play them greatest hits, don't you? Did you know HBO are doing apparently this really comprehensive documentary about Spielberg?
No.
Apparently, they've now gotten confirmation that J.J. Abrams, Martin Scorsese, and more directors will be contributing to it. Apparently, it's going to be the definitive look at Scorsese and his career. I'm intrigued.
Of Scorsese?
Of Spielberg, sorry, and his career. Sorry,
But Marty is going to be taking part.
Marty will be taking part, and...
like we're best friends.
And,
Marty.
his sort of adopted nephew, JJ.
Yeah.
But that is a weird thing, because I never knew that. J.J. Abrams evidently grew up around Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Like family friends.
Yeah, when he was a teenager, Kathy Kennedy contacted him and got them to, restore some films and then got him to make, little Super 8 films and whatnot. I don't think anything ever came of them, but that was,
something did come of it.
Eventually, but
The Force Awakens, the Mission Impossible series reboot, the Star Trek reboot, the entire run of Alias, Lost, and more importantly, Felicity.
Just go watch Happy Valley already.
How dare you, sir, talk about Happy Valley in the same sentence as Felicity? Has Kerry Russell not been through enough?
Have you watched The Americans yet?
No, I watched the pilot years ago.
I should really watch it.
And then I got distracted and never got to finish it.
She's great.
By the way, here's the weirdest news.
And it's been a big week.
It's been a big week. Right, Luke Cage is coming back to Netflix.
Yeah, they've got new people.
They've got new people. Have you heard who's directing the first episode of that? It's bonkers. It really is.
Let me go out of the box. I'm not going to say Kawanjane Wallace. I'm going to say...
Make about as much sense.
Holly Hunter.
Lucy Liu.
Right. Close.
Yeah.
Female.
Yeah. She's woman-shaped as well, yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Lucy Liu, for some unknown reason, is going to direct the season premiere of,
Has she directed before?
I have no idea.
I wonder if she's directed any episodes of Elementary.
Do you know it's entirely possible?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Oh, that was the one. Akiva Goldsman. Akiva Goldsman has a production company now?
Yeah.
Weed Road. Which I think tells you what he does with his free time.
Yeah, when he's not in a writer's room.
Yeah. Well, he was in that writer's room for Paramount with the Transformers series. Well, he's now signed a 2-year first look deal on behalf of his company with Paramount. They're going to produce the Rainbow Six movie adaptation, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. They're also going to do...
Tom Hardy's meant to be...
I think so.
Yeah.
No, that was Splinter Cell, wasn't it? Splinter Cell. He's also going to produce something called the Ologies, and of course... Evangeline, which is the comic book supernatural slash 'em up thing. But he's going to be doing that.
I see.
So, interesting enough. But let's never forget that this man did write Batman and Robin. So, yeah.
And New York Winter's Tale as well. He directed that.
Oh, God, yes, he did. Oh, man, that movie sucked. We gave stuff away for that movie.
Yeah, I remember cinema... I was working at the time, they got fingerless gloves.
Yep. I remember.
Why would you need that?
We gave stuff away for that. Got the stuff we have given things away for.
It's kind of great, really.
I remember we gave stuff away for The Pyramid, and hardly anyone entered that one. But
really,
yeah, it's kind of weird actually. The really strange thing. Entertainment One. How they don't like us seeing their films. They're quite happy to give us stuff to give away for the film, though. That's the really weird thing. I guarantee you now, I could phone Entertainment One right now. Let's not plug in the phone and actually do this, but I could phone Entertainment One right now and say, hi, can I see 47 Meters Down next Tuesday? I think Pressure's next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Can I see 47? And they'll say no. If I then called someone else in the same office and said, can I give stuff away for 47 Meters? They would say, yes, please, here's 15 sets. They would happily... It's the weirdest contradiction. I've never known anything like it. No.
It was a bit of a strange one.
But, I remember they didn't let me see Midnight Special. I had to make my own way to that one.
That's a good film.
But they gave us stuff to give away for it, if you remember. And it was good stuff, too.
Was that like the goggles?
Yeah, they gave us... actually, that's the weird thing. E1, really cool price sets as well. But,
good for them.
But, they'd rather give stuff away than let you see their films. That's a really telling thing, isn't it? I'm not saying that most of their films suck, but, half of them do. But, yeah. I could say more on that, but I won't. I'm tactful.
And that's all I got to say on that.
That's all I have to say about that. But, so have you got anything else? Have you got any more news?
No, I thought I had some news about Woody Harrelson learning about why Lord and Miller we're out of Star Wars. But it's really just it's like non-news.
Kind of is.
It just says like the producer told me.
Yeah,
that's it. We've shot one day with Ron. That's it.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's not really much you can say beyond. It seems like they really just didn't get on, and that seems to be the actual reason, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, but, I mean, maybe we'll go do Flash. I think that's a possibility.
Possibility? I don't know.
I think we'll probably go do something original.
I think that as well. I think they'll go.
People will be like, they're great.
I think they'll want something where they have complete creative control over, and I think
just like original. A palette cleanse of anything else.
Because they're spending enough time in the system now.
Yeah, so. They're trying to work for like the biggest studio in the world.
Oh well, should we draw it to a close then?
I think we better had before we ramble about BBC crime shows.
Rambling? What would that possibly like? On which note, here it is, your moment of Cage.
Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all else was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object, there was none. Passion, there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. And whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently. And then when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed that no light shone out, and then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? And then when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously, oh so cautiously, for the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night just at midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning when the day broke, I went boldly into the chamber and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone and inquiring how he has passed the night. So you see, he would have been a very profound old man indeed to suspect that every night just at 12 I looked in upon him while he slept. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph to think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was as black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shutters were closed, fastened through fear of robbers. And so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it on steadily. I had my head in, and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed, listening, just as I have done, night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. Presently I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or of grief, oh no. It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo the terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt and pitied him. Although I chuckled at heart, I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise when he had turned in his bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself, "Why, it is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor, or it is merely a cricket which has made a single chirp." Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he never saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length, in a simple dim ray, like the thread of the spider, shot from out of the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open. And I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray as if by instinct precisely upon the damned spot. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over-acuteness of the sense? Now I say, there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But even yet, I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous. So I am. And now, at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. Yet for some minutes longer I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst. And now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes, the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length, it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. If still you think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scantlings. I then replaced the boards so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot, whatever. I had been too wary for that. A tub had caught all. When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had deputed to search the premises. I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed in the enthusiasm of my confidence. I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they chatted of familiar things, but ere long I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But still they sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more and more distinct, and I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling. But it continued and gained definiteness until at length I found that the noise was not within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale. But I talked more fluently and with a heightened voice, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton, and I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and argued about trifles in a high key and with violent gesticulations, but the noise steadily increased. Now, why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides as if excited to fury. But the noise steadily increased, and oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore, I swung the chair upon which I'd been sitting and grated it upon the boards, but the noise arose over all and continually increased. It grew louder, 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 and still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no. No, they heard. They suspected. They knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. This I thought and this I think. But anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die, and now again, hark! Louder, 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 louder! Villains! I shrieked! Dissemble no more! I admit the deed! Tear up the planks! Here! Here! It is the beating of his hideous heart!